Hello, everyone, and welcome to LARPer time. My name is TrupsLP, and we are doing another episode of the Moisty Live Political Recap. Joining me, late and gay, as always, is Omegon. Say hello, Omegon.
Hello, Omegon.
How is Omegon?
I'm all right. You know what I should have done? I should have grabbed one of the bottles of
Uh,
whiskey behind me and popped it.
Did you hear mine crack open?
No, but I've just realised
Mm.
I'm surrounded by whiskey, and I didn't think to pour myself a glass.
That sounds like just okay. You
First
know,
world
you know the
problems.
picture of the small blonde girl, and she's on the couch trying to buy a bunch of black guys.
Oh,
I just imagined when you said
Piper.
I'm surrounded by whiskey, I just
Okay,
imagined you sitting on a couch and looking
so
up and there's just whiskey bottles around.
I altered that meme with a picture of Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden, and the caption read, "Only talented when surrounded by 5 men." Or 6 men.
There you
That's
go.
what and the annoying thing is because I had to find that image, I know that girl's name. I didn't know it before
Oh,
then.
good. I'm pleased to say I don't.
Her initials are PP, so it shouldn't be hard.
Oh,
Very,
okay, I
very
might know it.
very easy to remember for future reference. Yes.
Thanks, I need that.
How is
More for the
Trups?
people in the chat.
Yeah, well, yes. How is Trups today?
I'm doing all right. You know, it is a Friday. Technically a 3-day weekend because Martin Luther King Day is on Monday, which means I don't have to go to work on
That's a
Monday, which
thing.
is awesome. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this.
Pretty sure it's his birthday. So
Right. Well, that's a very nice thing to commemorate then.
yeah, it's
Considering what he stood for.
yeah, it's his birthday, and it's like a full on federal holiday. I mean, like banks, the stock market, a lot of shit is closed. Like my
Oh,
business usually allows us like to apply floating holidays. So like Labor Day, for instance, is one of those
right.
things that we can apply somewhere else. We don't have to take Labor Day off.
Oh, okay.
MLK Day, we must.
Oh. See,
And I'm
I
like, okay.
do you ever think with obviously we only over here know him for one thing, that one speech. Do you believe that like some of it now is a bit ironic because of how things have
Considering all things right now,
yeah.
I think it's completely ironic. Um,
I'm not trying to stoke any dissent. It's
well,
just as an outsider here, well, we don't have a Martin Luther King over here, you know.
right. I mean,
So
okay, so if you want to go through it, I mean, the fundamental thing, like one of the things that he would like that one of the quotes that's attributed to him the most often is, "I want to live in a world where my children are not judged by the color of their skin, but as the content of their character."
yeah,
Right. So you look at what's happening now in any of our countries, honestly, and that's exactly what happens.
yeah,
Actually, that's precisely what happens, and actually, you can add more things because the content of the character is now a list of terms that you identify as.
oh, there are so many as well, aren't there?
Yes, yes, quite the criteria. I want to see somebody make I want to see somebody make an Excel table of
Oh,
just like them and their friends,
oh
and then see where
God.
they line up.
I remember years ago there was a Tumblr post on all the sexualities and all the genders,
Mm.
but there were so many of them that it also suggested rolling a number of dice, so a certain number of these d20s, I think, to
Jeez.
find out
Ah.
what your sexuality was, and then do
Mhm.
another one for your gender. And I got
I remember that one.
I got Burly Diesel Dyke. I was very
Oh,
confused.
good.
I don't even know what this means. Is this just Diesel like the wrestler or Diesel like the
No, no.
train?
This would essentially be big, brawny, large shoulders, wide set, not fat, but like tall and stocky kind of person. And then Diesel Dyke would be essentially your very it's a mechanic.
I
It's
feel
essentially
I
you,
feel
you would be a
attacked.
mechanic. You would be like a woman, a large burly woman working on cars and
So
and
just
motorcycles.
just a gender bent Meg then.
Yeah, basically, it's just you, but a woman.
Okay. I'm not fat, by the way. If anyone wonders, no,
No, no, no.
seriously.
I
No,
made
I'm talking
sure
to the
not
chat.
to say
I'm saying
okay.
I'm talking to the chat. If anyone saw the weights, I put a picture on my Twitter earlier of leg day, of the weights I was doing on a leg press.
Yeah, I did see that.
No
I
one asked
thought you
how much it
were.
was, though. No one asked how much was on there. They just
Aren't
thought,
they
oh,
standard?
there's loads on there, so it must be, must be hundreds. Yeah,
No, isn't
standard,
it?
yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah, aren't
It's in
they just like
kilos.
yeah? Well, yeah, in kilos, but aren't like most of your standard things like your bar is 45 pounds.
Hmm.
Um, your I think what you racked like maybe what 230s on either side. So would that be fucking another 120 onto there? So you're at about 165, and then I think you put like 215s. So you're about 200, maybe 225
What, kilos or pounds?
pounds.
Okay, in kilos, it was only 180 kilos.
I
I
think.
don't know what that
Okay.
is in pounds, though. And that was me starting. I finish on 280.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was drastically I underestimated you.
Oh, really?
Yes, apparently.
Uh,
Um,
it
it's
it's
about 400 pounds.
right.
And was it squats?
That was a leg press.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that I push that, I let that go towards me, and I push it back up in a seated position. That was fun. I enjoy leg day. The only thing I hate is
I hate leg day.
there's only one piece of apparatus I hate, and it's called a prone leg curl. It's the hamstrings. I fucking
Ugh.
hate doing the hamstrings. Is it Yeah, hamstrings. I hate
Yeah.
it. I hate it so much. I don't know why, but that's the only part of my legs that's like, screw
Mhm.
you, Meg. Just no.
Yeah. Do you stretch?
I do.
Okay, good. At least you're doing that. Um,
I have
sorry, I
reasonable
got distracted
flexibility for
by.
a burly diesel dyke.
Ah, yes, well done. I got distracted because Chaos said I'm female, bisexual, and sapiosexual. I don't know what a sapiosexual is.
I don't know what that is either. I got confused when someone said they were semi-sexual, and I was like, hang on, hang on.
Is that like a mix of like asexual and like
I
isn't that just
believe
demisexual?
well, I believe demisexual, as far as I'm aware, is you can only be, unless there's an intense like connection. I believe,
One
yeah,
kilo is
I
2 kilo.
believe.
Thank you,
Um,
Davey.
but the semi-sexual thing, I only saw it because some creator was getting flack for it, and I initially thought it was that they were only attracted to semi-hard-ons. So
Ah,
yeah,
yes, the half chub.
yeah. The one where
Very, very
you're slightly uncomfortable in your seat because you're not sure which way it's going.
yeah. Or the one that if you're wearing sweatpants, you're just like, no, 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 it's soft. That's just what it looks like.
Yeah. That's what the sweats are for, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea what it is. I believe someone attributed it to something similar to asexuality or something,
Okay,
and
because
I just
demisexual is like you only have a sexual attraction to people that you have an emotional connection.
that's it. Thank you. Yeah,
And that one, I was like, that's just a
well,
good
it's just
relationship.
that's just called, yeah, that's called relationship goals.
Yeah.
So
But
so
anyway,
you're
besides,
demisexual.
I you could say that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, or taken, whichever's easier.
Yes, exactly. Monogamous. Um.
Sad face.
Yeah. Well, too bad.
I know.
Sorry, Meg.
Honestly, I'll kill her.
Um. So I don't know if this is what your title is about, your Partygate scandal, but did you know your prime minister? He's got a bunch of doppelgangers
Wait,
that
what?
all had a bunch of people
Oh
dressed up as
God.
Boris Johnson and
Oh.
were quote unquote partying outside of Downing Street today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I was too busy pulling a timeline together of what happened. That's. I need to look this up. That's amazing. Boris Johnson doppel gangbangers.
Yeah, here it is. Disclose.
Oh well,
Dot.
I like. There's a first thing I get is a article for a lookalike who has 210 convictions. And
There
is more
you go.
recent.
There's a
Oh yeah, please do.
Yeah, I sent you a
Oh well,
tweet.
there is that. I can't play that, but yes, that is a lot of people in blonde wigs and suits
So
with
I
a Boris
love that
Johnson mask
they're
on.
rocking the Union Jack.
Yeah, I like that. I
And I
like
think
that a lot.
somebody's got a fucking bottle of fucking Ciroc in hand. You see the
Yeah,
guy who's
that's a
just
bottle.
pounding the bottle of
That's a
Ciroc in
bottle of
hand?
Ciroc. Yeah, that's some vodka.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, here's the video for all those who's
Oh
curious.
yeah, please do post that in the chat.
Um,
That's fantastic.
like, I don't care. That's honestly funny to me.
Oh no, I'm 100% with you. That is
That's
actually quite good. It's nice to see some people poking fun at it because the last couple weeks have been very tense.
yeah, I felt that.
And I will say this is no joke. On my Twitter, Boris Johnson resign has been
Mhm.
trending for 2 weeks.
Really?
It
I've
has.
had Vosh show up on my Twitter
I have as
fucking
well.
thing
Yes, I've seen Vosh a few times.
constantly.
Every time it's because of out of context quotes with regards to kids. I want the full quote.
Shocker.
I need the
Well,
full. I
okay,
need the full context, so I can't
okay.
dunk on him. You
To be
know.
fair, there was one post that I posted in which she's 13 and Vosh were trending at the same time. They were not related. The topics were not related, but it was funny.
Oh, I've no doubt that it's hilarious. But
I
Boris
made sure to
Johnson
say that
resign
as correct as
has
possible.
been 2 weeks non-stop. Just everyone like, fam, you were at a party when people had their yeah. To the point, Parliament. He hasn't helped himself. Boris Johnson. I watched PMQs on Wednesday, and I was going to do a stream actually on it on this channel because I thought, screw it, I'm not doing videos here anymore. I may as well bring back the live streams, you know. But I was
Yeah.
so pissed off with it. I was so annoyed.
Mhm.
Firstly, Keir Starmer, fam, you weren't going to get anything out of Boris, so why did you continue? It was pathetic. And Boris, oh my god, he did the apology and non-apology. He apologized and unapologized. So he said he took complete responsibility right at the start of P&Qs for what happened, while also saying, "I did not know that this was a party."
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It's like Boris does not know he was at a party. And
I'm sorry,
there was a
Did
picture.
Boris Johnson just arrow 404 on me? I just honestly, you know that sound on Windows when you accidentally click the wrong thing, it goes dun, right? That's what I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
was
the
going on
arrow sound.
in his head. Just that weird Windows sound in the background. Error, blue screen. He wasn't sure. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I
There
watched
was a
the
fucking picture. You know the meme where it's just like a bunch of people at a party and there's one guy in the corner?
yeah.
Oh, here it is. Here's the picture. Thank God I was able to find it that fast. Woohoo!
It's not
It's
Chris Chan,
this.
is it?
No, it's this.
That is what Boris Johnson basically. But the thing is, there are some discrepancies to an extent. I mean, there's some details of this that has some people questioning it a little bit because I will concede on May the 15th, when that party took place, that group gathering took place, the wine and the cheese, yes, took place. Yes, we as a country
I
had
wanna
only just
I
gone
wanna
in.
point out charcuterie is the greatest thing.
Sorry, what?
So like wine, cheese, crackers, like salami, that those plates that they have at like
Oh, the
at
plates.
get-togethers.
Oh,
Yeah. The technically the word is charcuterie,
I've never heard of it.
but it's basically adult Lunchables,
Oh,
and
it's basically like
I'm
the
down.
adult version of the packet one you can get where you make your little sandwiches. Okay, that's cool.
Mhm.
And obviously with wine.
Ye
Well, so it took place on May the 15th. As everyone knows, the picture came out last month.
Mhm.
The picture of Boris being there. But we just got into. I'm not trying to defend Boris, by the way. Just going to provide some
Mhm.
additional context that many people are going to poke fun at, and there's a point to this poking a hole at. Boris was, he'd introduced these lockdown rules. They were brand new stuff. And yes, the Chris Chan stuff is hilarious, but I'm referring to the pictures of him with his gal pals where they're all sat around watching TV and he sat alone in the corner on his own because that's how he liked it. Thank you for
Mhm.
reminding me that he's pathetic. And you're more of a Christorian than I could ever be. Boris introduced these lockdowns. We'd all been stuck. We were all indoors. Oh, you can only go out once a day for exercise. So I'd go outside and do a 20k walk. I'm sure everyone put on weight
Bless
during
you.
lockdown. I am no exception to this. I was really irritated by that, by the way. But when the gyms open again, it was shredding season all over again. It was It was,
Yay.
yeah, it was uncharted territory for us as a country. Absolutely was. And the Coronavirus Act was new. Yes, I would fully expect every government to lead by example. But then something happened. Something I'd say I would argue no one expected it, and we're not sure how that we're not sure really what happened, and this is where grey area comes up because most people forget Boris was in the ICU because he got coronavirus, and Boris
Yep.
was there in April of last year, and some were saying he was pretty heavy on the oxygen. He was out for
Mhm.
quite a while, in fact, and because of how this impacted Parliament, no one was sure what was going on as far as leading the country goes. We know Dominic Raab was essentially leading, but
Mhm.
not. And I'm not trying to justify what Boris has done in the slightest, but there is a small chance that he genuinely didn't know. Genuinely, because he was not in that building for as much time as people think, so he would not have known about as much going on. The buck stops with him, I agree, but there's a chance. And this is where it gets a bit grey, because I posited this idea to somebody yesterday while I was cleaning the pub, and they said, "Oh no, no," on the way to the pub, and they said, "Yes, but only if he actually had it." And I'm like, that's actually a key point, because there is no version of what's happened where Boris Johnson will be believed.
Of
They will
course not.
only and so there will always be somebody, a conspiracy theorist or someone else, that will say, "Ah, yes, but the person investigating was appointed by Boris, therefore it's not unbiased." Even though if you appoint someone from any other party, it will be biased. That's always going to be the case. Independent,
Mhm.
biased. If they found Boris innocent, which is believed to be the case in this, minus a censure, no one's going to accept it. They're going to be like, well, he should resign anyway because Matt Hancock had to resign after he was caught kissing one of his aides.
Hold on. There's such a big difference.
There
I
is.
think there's such a large difference between I was at a party for 25 minutes
Yeah.
to I was smooching on one of my aides while I'm a married man.
False equivalence is not something people seem to understand or accept, and I don't get it myself. I think they need to learn. But then this is how it's being portrayed in the media as equal to, if not more significant than. People also seem to forget that the picture that was taken and shared,
Mhm.
Boris was sat pretty far away from people. He wasn't like mingling with people. He was
Mm.
away from it, aloof even. I don't
Yeah.
think he knew what was going on. And I do think the party should have been dispersed. 100% agree. But I don't know. I don't know if he should lose his job over it yet. I'm not entirely
No.
sure. But at the same time, it would be hilarious if he did, because that means in the space of, let's see, 12 years, we will have had one, two, three prime ministers from the Conservatives.
No,
Three.
you know what's even funnier about that? If you hold Boris to that level, right? If you hold him to that level of accountability, that means that the UK holds their top leaders in a higher standard than we hold any of our fucking politicians.
Mm, I,
Because the amount of people who during COVID, it came out that not only did they themselves enforce a lockdown,
yeah.
but then they were then found outside at a party, at
Hmm.
some dinner, whatever, and nothing happened to them,
Yeah.
then that would mean that you would hold your highest office at a higher standard than we hold some mayors.
So that's actually a good point because we do that. At the same time, those same politicians want to be treated as such and be protected from online criticism. But this now reminds me, and I have to point back to it, I'm not sure how I'm going to connect it though, to when a certain Mr. God Emperor was elected. And
Mhm.
because of how he behaved on Twitter, people believed he was dragging down the office and not therefore acting presidential. That, level that people, apparently politicians are supposed to be at. Don't know how I'm going to connect this to my politicians, but you know what? Do you understand vaguely what I mean?
Yeah. They're trying to compare his professional office to something else that's not in his professional capacity.
Exactly. And yeah, so what I'll do, I'm going to go through this little timeline here because I think it's important for people to understand it. So for it, we go back to May 15th, 2020, where Boris was seen with pictured with wine and cheese with his now wife Carrie and 20 staff in the Downing Street garden. Um, on May the 20th, Johnson's aide Martin Reynolds invited staff to, and I'll quote this, make the most of the lovely weather and have some socially distanced drinks in the number 10 garden this evening. Now, gatherings at this point were haram, so that should not have happened. I fully understand and appreciate that essential workers, they qualified. But that does not mean they can do something like that. Um,
Mhm.
by the end of that gathering, though, there were 40 staff in the garden eating and drinking. Johnson and Carey attended, but according to a number of reports, some staffers did express issues about the group possibly breaking lockdown rules. On May the 22nd, two tabloids published a joint investigation alleging that Johnson's chief advisor had driven, that was Dominic Cummings, driven across the country a month earlier. Anyone else remember the eye test thing? Yeah, that was genius. Um, Cummings argued that he and his wife had come down with COVID and needed his parents in northeast England to provide childcare. That obviously was unacceptable because, again, aides of the Prime Minister, they are on par with the Prime Minister as well on this one. Where was the rest of it? Oh, November 13th, Dominic Cummings was fired. On November 27th, Boris Johnson gave a speech at Downing Street, where there were drinks held for other aides. 50 people, by the way, were apparently in that room. On December the 14th, buffet food and drinks were on offer in a photograph revealed by the Times showing Conservative staff in a festive mood at the party headquarters. It might be easy to say when they didn't have a party at this point. On December the 15th, Boris was photographed sitting between two staffers at a number 10 Christmas quiz, but he has insisted it was a work gathering. I'm sure that was one of the answers on the paper. On
What
December,
will we tell people who ask? It's a work gathering.
that's what you should always tell them. Uh,
Absolutely. Always tell something. It's important. I promise.
I agree. On December the 18th, 2020, there was another party held at Downing Street. Allegedly, this was according to another tabloid. The government had to deny it, but a video was then obtained by ITV News that showed the then press secretary Allegra Stratton joking about the event at a mock news conference, which that was that was like a month ago. She resigned in a tearful public statement. Most people saw it. She literally laughed about this party, and because of the ability to spin such a thing, and really, she didn't get optics at all. She was screwed the moment she opened her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on June the 26th, 2021, Matt Hancock resigned because of the video footage of him breaking the restrictions by snogging one of his aides. Unpaid aid. And that is all we have on that particular timeline. But there are a number of allegations, and all those parties I mentioned, these are the ones that are being investigated. And just because this made me chuckle, I couldn't help but notice earlier. Apparently, there is a plan to save Boris Johnson, even though he has backbenchers and most of the, if not all, the opposition against him. There's a charitably being dubbed a blueprint. Its name, Operation Save Big Dog, to attempt.
Why? Why would they
To,
call it that?
it's just a claim. I don't know if it's true, but it's designed to limit the fallout from Sue Gray's investigation. Sue Gray is the person Boris Johnson appointed to investigate the party as to whether or not it breached any of the Coronavirus Act rules, but also parliamentary standards, I believe. If they are found in breach of parliamentary standards, Boris has to resign. If they breached any of the coronavirus rules, maybe not. They might just get censured. But that does lead to what was trending earlier, because, well, yeah. Hang on, what did I just say? Yeah. No, Boris is screwed. It's believed that Sue Gray's report will find him innocent in the knowledge of whether or not he's happened, but at the same time seek to censure him for these parties even happening. Sorry, and that's pretty much all of it. There are a lot
If
of
he were the
memes.
organizer, I would get it a little bit more, but like,
Yeah, I mean
I don't
it's
know.
because
It
they
kind of
think
sounds more
they
like a victim of
yeah
circumstance,
they
honestly.
think he's there. He must know. I'm not sure if one can prove it. The thing is, if he stood up in Parliament, this is where you have to. The integrity of the politician is so important. If someone knowingly lies in Parliament,
Mhm.
they're done. But the thing is, this is where I find Parliament quite funny because Boris stood up and he made it quite clear that he did not know about it. Right, straight up, did not know. The problem is, the moment he said that, everyone on the opposition was like, "You're lying," and you can't say that in Parliament, which annoys me. I think you should be allowed to just say, "The politician's telling a porky here, people. It's game over." But rather irritatingly, you can't do
Wait,
that.
hold on.
So
You're not allowed to lie in Parliament?
you're not allowed to call someone a liar in Parliament.
Oh, I was gonna say, how do you have any Labour MPs left?
The problem, how do you have any politicians left at this point? They,
True, true.
the
Fair point.
thing is, if a politician is never allowed to be called a liar or challenged on what they've said, yet at the
Mhm,
same time endure dozens of questions from people claiming them to be a liar without calling them a liar, surely
mhm.
that entire idea is moot. Like, you can't say I'm not allowed to call someone a liar while simultaneously telling them to resign for misleading Parliament. Or tell them to resign because they were there, they were seen in the pictures. I don't get it. The evidence is there. It does look a bit odd. I'm using odd charitably because I'm not entirely sure yet if Boris did break the rules. Annoyingly, I do believe we need to see Sue Gray's report before judging anything. And I've said this to so many people, but at the same time, he appointed her. It should have been somebody independently chosen or selected by a group of all parties. A person chosen that everyone agreed could be the right person to lead the investigation. And that'd be the best way forward. But because he's chosen this person, no one's going to respect the outcome of it, are they? They're going to look at it and go, well, Sue Gray's clearly in the back pocket. I assume she'll get a peerage next year then. Two rules of government. Never look into anything you don't have to, and never set up an inquiry, unless you know in advance what its findings will be. Sir Humphrey Appleby. I mean, I tend to agree with that, yeah. Thank you for that, Rob. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone in the chat today, by the way. This has been my TED Talk.
There's a similar version of that statement. It's as a lawyer, never ask a question you don't already know the answer to.
Honestly, yeah.
So if you're in court and you have a witness on the stand, never ever ask a question that you don't already know how they are going to respond.
I feel like we could have used that during the Rittenhouse trial, couldn't we?
Well, the thing was is that the only reason why I that's in the forefront of my mind is because Nick Rekieta, who does his own show,
Mm-hmm.
did mention that, and as did his panel of lawyers.
Is he still working with the
Um,
Ralph?
I don't know.
I kind of hope he's not. Just drag Ricata down. And yes, I know chaos. I'm being a
I
bit.
was more.
Just to
Go
address
ahead.
chaos there, everyone agreed. You're right. It's a bit idealistic to think that all the parties, leaders perhaps of each party, could agree, or a representative from each party could agree on one person to do the investigation. But I do believe if they ever did do that, that would lead to a better response to any investigation. But I know why Boris has done it, because he has no doubt there is, and it's not a conspiracy. He has chosen someone that, while may be more impartial than others, he has chosen somebody that may well better benefit him. There is no denying that. It's called politics, right? Oh, he's well past
I don't
Ralph.
know.
Thank you, Rich. But I
If
do think we need to wait for the report to come out before judging anything. And I don't
I
think,
don't
at the
know.
same time, Boris could get out of this because there's no version of it where that'll be true. And you know it's negatively impacting the party already because Labour's approval rating has absolutely skyrocketed. He's completely screwed at the moment, and to the point. Oh my god, there's some fantastic memes. I'm gonna
Hmm.
I'll DM them to you. I'll show them to you on the server. It's a horrible Daily Mail one, but you'll see on the thumbnail of it a lady dancing with a lightsaber and Boris dancing with behind her on a checker floor. It just
Oh, good.
it looks fantastic.
I want to be at that party.
There were some football commentators on some channels I watch, and they were having an absolute field day with this about numbers of people in parties, and then managing to simultaneously connect it to the number of players in a football team. And I thought that was very clever and funny because they, even though they're not a political channel, everyone's been dunking on them. But like, there was another one I saw. It was a picture of a football player whose name is Thomas Partey, where they've scribbled out Party in his last name, spelled EY at the end, and replaced it with Thomas Work Event. I like that. It's like the Boris gathering with the Ciroc. It's funny. Just enjoy a good joke. Nothing wrong with
Hmm.
that. Um, Not sure what's going to happen though. What do you?
True. Well, I don't think I don't know. Maybe it's because I live in a country that apparently doesn't hold people accountable. Um,
You
but
don't. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I don't think that we're going to see anything happen to Boris.
No, I don't
But
either.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Thing
I'm
is,
wrong.
even if he is found um, guilty, right? People seem to think,
Mhm.
oh, if he does that, then Parliament should be recalled and there should be another election. Thing is, he has his party was elected. The party, not him, the party. We don't elect our leaders, we elect our representatives, and the majority hold the parliament. And
Mhm.
so, if he was forced to resign, Dominic Raab would take his place as deputy leader until a
Ew.
new leader was chosen. That person still holds on to the mandate the party had earned in 2019, the mandate that says they have until 2024 when Parliament can be dissolved. If, though, Boris is found guilty, many are already saying that the Queen, who's already sort of started taking away even more privileges from Andrew, could well just, because she's in the right mood for it, just dissolve Parliament anyway, because she has that power.
I
She
kind of
can
feel
just.
bad for the Queen right now.
Right now, I feel really bad for her, but I am actually super impressed with Charles and William for just being like, yo, Nan, Mum, take that shit away from him. We're sick. He's dragging us down. The problem is, the royal family are very well are protected, and at the same time, they really aren't. And it's starting to show how little they're protected, and how, well, to protect the royal family, they have to distance themselves from him for the time being. Because we don't know what's going to
Mhm.
happen in any of these cases. We really don't. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it because I really don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
What do you think at the moment with well, actually, did you want to talk about that or something in America?
Well, I mean, we can talk about something in America, but like the just the final thought on that is the Queen is how old now?
95, 96.
Man, this is the last thing that she should have to be dealing
95.
with?
Birthday's in April, so she's 95.
This is like the
Longest reigning
last
monarch.
thing that she should have to be fucking
Honestly,
dealing with.
since Philip died, she's been dealing with this, and Andrew, she's shielded as best she can, really. But
Hmm.
she knows she cannot protect him. Even if he's innocent, she cannot protect him, and she knows the royal family's existence is more important than Andrew, who is not even in line for the throne.
Hmm.
Him and Edward, Tata. Well, Edward's not involved, but Tata. It's Charles, William, and George. They are the three.
Right.
They are the most important. Everyone else is not even secondary. They're redundant.
Right.
So Andrew being stripped of military affiliations and more patronages, is that a word? Yeah. Being stripped
Yeah.
of all of this is a nail in the coffin. The guy should just be at home hiding. He should be nowhere in public sight. He should be talking to legal representatives and hoping that he doesn't get extradited, but knowing the UK's track record of extraditing people, it's more than likely going to happen when you guys ask, because we're bitches, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. I don't know. That shit's fucked.
It
But
is.
okay. So, all right. So, where do you want to start with with U.S. politics? Because we've had
It's been the
an
anniversary of the
interesting.
Capitol Hill riots. I saw Nancy Pelosi talking about
Okay.
it.
All right. We can start there. Um. So yes. January 6th happened. Since last week we met.
Hmm.
And oh, they've done some strange things, some strange grandstanding regarding it.
Oh, I noticed.
First of all, Kamala Harris likened January 6th to such events as 9/11 and Pearl Harbor,
Yes, I saw that. I was waiting for your
which
reply to it.
I think that's I'm almost like so shocked I don't know how to respond to that kind of thing.
It's one of the shittest takes I've ever seen in my life.
Well, right. Combine that with the fact that they took a moment of silence, right? Now, let me remind everybody that the individuals who died during January 6th, right?
Yep.
Believe it was 5 total people.
Hmm.
4 of them were due to health complications, like heart attacks and stuff. And the only one who was killed was Ashley Babbitt,
Yep.
who was a protester who got shot by Capitol Police. So, when they take a moment of silence, I have to wonder what for. I think they would probably come up with some BS like, "Oh, it's for the day democracy died" or some shit. Because that's the level of hyperbole that they have been going about talking about 1/6, talking about how the democracy is in danger because these people came in. Um, Apparently, that actually wasn't even like the only time that's ever happened. I was listening to MSNBC on the way home, and apparently, in like the 50s, a bunch of Puerto Rican nationalists also showed up, but they were actual insurrectionists and actual like seditionists. Like they were trying to stop everything so that their opinions could be listened to and whatnot. But anyway, um, apparently they were actual seditionists, according to I guess that guy on fucking MSNBC. Um, by the way, I want to point out that MSNBC, like its talk show, is probably some of the most disgusting collection of bullshit. Like I almost think MSNBC's like talk shows is worse than CNN.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But I think it's just the level of bullshit that they spew forth.
There's plenty of it on these channels at the moment, isn't there?
Oh, yes there is. Yes there is, unfortunately. Um but yeah, so So Nancy Pelosi, she had a moment of silence. Kamala likened it um, to 9/11, Pearl Harbor, in what is only described as the most offensive thing that a sitting vice president has said about an event in our country since I have no idea. Vice presidents don't usually talk all that much.
I found it fast.
Probably for a good.
Did you see the
It's
sit down with Pelosi?
no,
She did a sit down interview, didn't she?
maybe
It was many people
not on
are.
MSNBC too.
I don't remember. I just know
The
it was.
AP.
It was with the guy with the white hair,
Is he kind of
glasses.
like Anderson Cooper?
That's it. Yeah, she did, and they were sat in the area where the protesters were,
Oh,
and they were
you mean the
discussing this.
fucking doorway.
Well, it's a large area with a big circle thing on the floor.
Okay.
And I found it. Well, bits of it. I saw the clips. Portraying it as if it was the biggest threat to democracy ever, and I was just sat here like, I mean, some guy walked off with a lectern. Fam, he fucked off.
Apparently, her hard drive is still missing. That's a thing.
Okay, so her nudes might be on 4chan at some point.
Well,
Good to know.
What?
I don't give a shit. Oh,
No, neither do I.
no, I do care that the hard drive might be able to contain something of national importance. I fully agree. But no one needs to see her nudes, so keep them.
Yes. Keep if you have them out there, keep them to yourself.
Do us a civic service duty. Get your Medal of Honor and never, ever, ever show us a horseshoe tits. I just find it very strange because I remember seeing on Twitter not long after that. The US is not a democracy; it's a republic. Thank you for the correction.
But they keep saying threatening our democracy.
Yeah,
so
I think it's because
blame
of
our fucking elected officials for having shit verbiage.
misusing language. I guess you're right, verbiage. That people on Twitter were pointing out that the way the Democrats are currently acting in Congress and the Senate is in a way that is attempting to completely prevent either Republicans from doing anything or from harming the democracy in some way. And I don't know what they were talking about. Did you have any idea what that's about?
Yes, I do.
Filibuster, maybe?
Yes, exactly that, actually.
Oh, that was such a guess.
So, it was a good guess. So the filibuster conversation is rearing its ugly head again.
Of course it is.
And mostly it's because right now the voting rights bills that the House had passed is currently sitting in the Senate, and our two favorite moderate Democrats.
The two who are refusing to budge on things.
Yes,
The Build Back Better plan. Okay.
Apparently that one passed, I think. Well, part of it passed like 2 months ago. But this voting rights bill is newish. And the way they describe this bill is like as if the United States has no fucking voting rights for minorities at all. I started looking up the actual the text of the bill of HR1.
Yeah.
And in here is basically the long and short is that this is a 791-ish page fucking bill, which that means that most of this is BS that they know that people aren't going to fucking read, because who besides political activists and news reporters have the time to actually go through 700 pages? So you've got let's just go through some of the sections, right? You have benefits for participating
I've got something for you.
candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Manchin, on the 8th of January this year, pulled support for an alternative proposal that he presented to the White House with regards to the Build Back Better plan. He is no longer supporting any form of legislation unless Democrats fundamentally change the bill on his terms, which effectively ends Biden's ability to sign it
Yeah,
on this policy and climate change bill. So
there
Manchin
was a
has fecked him.
yes, there was a Democratic caucus meeting. I think it was a day or two ago,
Oh,
where Biden went to Capitol Hill to discuss with the Senate Democrats, what it is that their plan was and how to go about doing it.
yeah.
And right before he goes up, Kristen Sinema says, "Nah, fuck you, we're not doing that." Which of course pissed everybody off. Um, then later, Manchin comes in and goes, "By the way, same," and basically throws the 50-50 out the window.
That's how you screw. That's how you screw everyone over a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. But the other thing is that the voting rights bill, right? This voting right bill that they're trying to push. Let's go to Vox's reporting of it. It will require each state to put online options for voter registration, correction, cancellation,
Hmm.
or designating party affiliation. Now, that doesn't matter to some people because, in some cases, your party affiliation does not actually matter who you vote for. In some places,
Oh,
um, in some states, you don't. In order to vote in primaries, for instance, you need to be a member of that state party.
yes.
That does not exist in every state. Um, there are some states where you can be a Democrat and vote in a Republican primary, which I know it sounds weird,
It does, but I
um,
get it. I get it.
but technically it's still a representative that's gonna go into your area. So as long as you live there, they basically
Well, you're
agree
voting
that you have a say.
you're voting on a state level. There's nothing wrong with that at all, really.
Right.
Is there? No, no, it's fine.
Um,
It's fine.
right. Um, So honestly, I don't really care much for that rule in particular. Let's see. Creates new automatic voter registration that asks voters to opt out rather than opt in, ensuring more people will be signed up to vote.
Should we talk about
Requires
voter
chief
ID
state.
now while we're at it?
Oh, I'm looking at this whole little thing that Vox did, and you know what's not in this fucking bill?
What's not
Anything that
in
has
there?
to do with voter ID.
Huh. I wonder why.
But you know what was in fucking Washington D.C.'s recent legislation?
What was that tweet I saw?
Vaccine
So
IDs,
there's
and you
this
have to have a fucking ID to walk
there's
around and go to a
there's
restaurant.
this guy on Twitter I follow. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is TrupsLP, and he tweeted about
Yeah.
being Hispanic.
Oh, my tweet from earlier today. One of my tweets from earlier today.
I saw it. Yeah. So, would you like to? I think this is related to the ID thing. I believe about watering down
Oh,
voters or something.
that one. Oh, that was from the other day. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking
Hold
about.
on.
It's
Let, let,
related to
let,
this.
let me pull. Yeah, let me pull that one up. I liked that one. That actually was a good one.
If I bothered to, I probably would have liked it as well. I saw it in passing and forgot to hit the heart on it.
Oh yeah.
It was a banger.
So it was in response to Ari Berman, who is an author of Give Us the Ballot, The Modern Struggle for Voting Rights in America, and he's a writer for Mother Jones. So you know it's going to be good. His
Yep.
tweet was, "It's absolutely maddening that Manchin and Sinema want to support the rights of the minority in the Senate over protecting the rights of minority voters to have free and fair elections." So I responded with, "Hi, yes, Hispanic American here. The Democrats are tainting the Hispanic vote by using illegal immigrants to dilute the people who went through the immigration process legally, thus pushing Hispanic vote more blue. Remind me about minority voting again."
I've liked it now. It's a good tweet.
Oh, thank you. Because if we look at what happened in New York, I think it was a couple weeks ago that we talked about it, but the whole letting people vote who are not citizens, they can vote in local elections, right? At that time, it wasn't a big deal. Like, we didn't really say too much about just that aspect of it. I mean, I guess it's okay. But the problem is that it becomes the slippery slope that everyone likes to laugh at people for mentioning, but neglect to actually ever accept that it's happening.
Yeah.
So okay, you let non-citizens vote in New York City. Okay, so that means a lot. New York City is a major hub of culture and influence in this country.
It is.
So you're gonna let people who don't actually live here have no care about living here.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to, I guess, just vote for what they want, I suppose.
Yeah.
Cool, I guess. Does that have any implications to, like, I don't know, the fact that most illegal immigrants are probably maybe came in here based on democratic policies, and they might be more likely to vote for people who say open borders instead of, hey, illegal immigrants, you should probably not be here because you're not legally allowed to be here. You think they might have like an opinion about who they'd rather vote for, considering this is one of the best countries in the world?
He took a jeeps!
Sorry,
And going back to Venezuela is probably not the best plan.
I mean, it's not the smartest. It's a plan,
I
I
don't
guess.
know. Just spitballing, really.
It's still an idea.
Notice, by the way, that Cubans weren't allowed to stay. Just pointing that one out. And actually, Venezuelans weren't allowed to stay either.
It's like a minor grudge. I can't imagine why.
Hmm.
Hey, they know there's oil in Venezuela. How come you haven't gone to war with them yet?
Because it's crude as fuck and it's really hard to process.
Okay.
That's actually the reason why.
Saddam didn't do nothing, everyone.
Yeah, like the reason why we haven't invaded Venezuela is because their shit is so goddamn
I know,
hard.
I know. I remember being told about this. Like, they hedge their bets and put it all in the oil and then realize that oil is rubbish. No one wants to buy it. So the country's going broke because they hedged their bets on the wrong thing. Absolute
I mean,
twats.
it could have been a great export to some people, but not great to hedge all your bets on.
Yeah, it'd be a great garden ornament.
Sure.
Yeah,
if you want oil barrels as a garden ornament.
Well, no, it'd be a great one when you use it as a bird feeder. The bird lands on it, it wraps itself. I'm going to stop that because people are going to get really upset. If I
was going to say, more likely it's going to be your only source of heat for your home.
I mean, it'd be a fantastic source if you get a barrel and just set it on fire.
Don't worry, though. The Venezuelans are hard at work fucking grinding gold for you RuneScape players out there.
Oh, wait, what?
I shit you not, that's a thing.
Is that... Oh, that's great. I'm glad there's a market then, at least. Because they need the money. The black markets keep getting torn apart in Venezuela. It's hilarious.
It's disgusting,
Don't
actually.
Don't forget, though.
Socialism works, unless it fails, in which case it's not real socialism.
Socialism works so well that Tia, fucking abuela out there, is fucking mining, is fucking soloing bosses to farm mats to sell on fucking G2G so that people can get fucking gold in RuneScape. Yep, that's where I wanted my country to go too.
I've got to admit though, that's admirable. I know, by the way,
right?
Someone's going to say this, and I know they're going to do it either in a comment after the stream or somewhere else. I don't really give a shit. That it's not really socialism. Okay. I'm just quoting Jeremy Corbyn, who, upon the election of one of the previous leaders, or current leader, I can't remember who, declared it a truly socialist state. And a successful socialist state at that, before it absolutely went catatonic. So, if you want to try and at me on that one...
Cuba too.
Yeah. If you want to
they were
at
like,
me on
but
that...
the literacy rate... I'm like, yeah, but the starving, though.
Exactly. If you want to at me about it, don't bother. Just at Trups instead, because chances are he'll actually have an argument with you, and I can't be asked. I'll probably just ignore you because I don't look at my replies. I'm really lazy at Twitter.
I'll give you the long and short of how that argument is going. Were you fucking dropped on your head as a child, or are you just that stupid? Okay.
The answer should
That's the
just be
long and short of the
yes.
argument.
Yeah, it's the Cliff's Notes of the Cliff's Notes of the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you're gonna start arguing with me that Venezuela is not a failed state, I think that you might be missing some fucking chromosomes. Um.
I think they're just a victim of
Anyway,
fetal alcohol syndrome.
yes. Well, unfortunately, I really hate when people try to excuse the fucking terrible socialist practices that exist in other countries because their ideology clouds their judgment to such a degree that it makes them think that, oh yeah, they believe in like communal fucking healthcare. That
Yep,
must mean it's a great country. And I'm like, yeah, right, right past the starving and homeless crisis. Yep. Glad
exactly.
they have that healthcare.
See
What's their
you.
healthcare again?
Uh,
Oh yeah, it's fucking Advil that they stole from the store.
see, Trups gets it. Trups gets it. He'd be a
I
great
hate it so
socialist.
much, man. It's such a bullshit argument.
It
You know, it's
is.
great. It's great when you look at like the history.
Mm,
I like to use Guys and Dolls as a nice little cultural reference when we talk about like failed communist states, for
yeah.
instance. Because in Guys and Dolls, Sky Masterson, one of the gamblers, a very well off gambler who actually owes everybody a fucking bunch of money, um, he takes somebody to Havana or fucking Cuba to go party for like a weekend, right? That used to happen in this country.
Yeah.
People used to be able to just take a ferry out to Cuba, and it was a weekend that people could go and enjoy. And when you went there, all the lights were up, and the clubs, and the dancing, and the music, and it was really kind of cool. What happened though? Communism happened, and they shut it down because capitalism was bad, I guess. And now there are people who had lived there who are like 60, 70 years old at this point, who are like, yeah, all of this stuff, though it still is a building there, but no one's been in it for the last 30 years, and it looks like shit, and no one owns it anymore. It's just a government building. And it's really sad because you look at all the dance halls and they're disheveled and decrepit, and it's awful.
It is. And I really hope things improve. I wish that would sound more
Me too.
sincere, but I'm really bad at
Uh,
sincerity.
I want it to improve too because I would love to go to Cuba and not have to worry that like, well, okay, I would love to go to Cuba and not worry about saying my name out loud and being like, "Hey, weren't you on the list of people that escaped from Cuba or your family?" And I go, no, no."
It's, I mean, you're born on American soil, you're fine. Oh, expired Advil. Correction.
Ah, yes, thank you. Very, very important detail there. Yes, I think the
Agreed.
last time it was unexpired was 2001.
It's a while then.
A bit, yeah, yeah, yeah. People
Jeez.
who were born when that shit was good can fucking drink.
I mean,
Um,
if it expired in 2001, I was like 15.
yeah,
It was a good
yeah.
time. It was a terrible time to be alive, but a good time at the same time.
But yeah, real quick, circling back to that HR 1, the voting rights
Oh, yes,
bill.
please, yeah.
So Biden has gone off on a fucking tangent about that, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making a bunch of comments at not only in Atlanta, but then also again at Capitol Hill when his plan was basically dead upon arrival because of Cinema and Mansion. Um,
Right.
in that, he called people who disagreed with that provision, that law, he called them seditionists and
Okay.
segregationists. So he said, you're either with Abraham Lincoln or you're with Jefferson Davis, the leader of the Confederacy. And apparently there was no wiggle room out of there. Um, you either are a fucking Confederate or you get on board with his bill, I guess. we're not going to talk about the fact that Southern Democrats was the people who were segregationists and that LBJ was a Southern Democrat. But whatever. We won't talk about that, and that Republicans was Abraham Lincoln. Which, by the way, I also want to point out that in that specific circumstance, Abraham Lincoln literally defied the Constitution, suspended the writ of habeas corpus to go after people. So he literally like threw the Constitution to the side too during that time frame.
Yeah.
Just as an aside, I don't know if we want to go down that road of talking about how you're gonna be like Abraham Lincoln, right?
Careful, careful. Someone's gonna say this is revisionist history.
It's not though.
You give it a chance, someone will, and you know it. Oh, this is revisionist history.
If somebody says this is revisionist history, then I need them to tell me the history of sex education within the last 5 years.
He said the S word.
And tell me what biology said, and you want to tell me about revisionist history.
By the way, I'm only saying it
because
you know, if it was, say, a year ago, where we had a few more people who are less inclined to agree with you, that's what you'd be accused of.
Oh, absolutely. They hate my guts.
They do, but they're not here anymore. Sad face.
Yeah, it's true. I did really enjoy milking their
tears.
interaction. The harvesting the tears was a hobby.
It was.
Yes.
Do you think this Build Back Better plan will get through eventually? Or will
you mean the voting rights one? Not the Build Back Better, the voting rights bill.
Whatever it is that's currently stalled.
Voting rights, yeah. No, and here's why. Okay, in order for them to pass this bill, what they need is to convince Manchin and Sinema to get on board with not the bill, but they need it to get on board with removing the filibuster. Now, even as far back as fucking Barack Obama, they were like, Democrats were all like, no, the filibuster's a good thing. No party should be allowed to unilaterally come in and with a simple majority take over and start pushing legislation. A lot of people said, nah, fair enough. Now, of course, during Trump's administration, that was really shit because he wanted to push things through and people did not want to give him anything, not even a fucking inch. So unfortunately, the filibuster thing, they need Manchin and Sinema to go ahead and do that. But that's kind of why Sinema and Manchin made like a firm stance. It's because they have to vote to remove the filibuster for this one specific bill. If they allow that to happen, that means that somebody else can come in and do the same exact thing the other way around, which means that they can vote in part to say, oh yeah, we're going to suspend the filibuster for this one thing.
Okay.
That's the loophole that they're trying to exploit without having the 60 votes needed. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for everybody else, they don't have the ability to do that, and they keep getting hung up by individuals who respect the idea of democracy. Ironically, though, the shit that is flying from their mouths about what would happen if they don't pass this bill, it's as if they're talking like the U.S. does not have voting rights for minorities, is basically what it sounds like. And the extent of the HR1 bill is that they're giving more access, and I'm talking like fucking a month long, essentially, to get your vote tabulated both before and after the vote is supposed to go in on November 4th. And they claim, oh, but the minorities, they don't have free and fair elections because of reasons. Um, and I one of my first thoughts was like, okay, so if that's true, then how did we have one of the most secure elections in history if minorities weren't allowed to vote?
I I think the most important thing for Biden right now is that he's running out of. I mean, that's in the Senate, isn't it? The mansion cinema thing, isn't it?
Yes,
He's running out of time to hold the House. He's running out of time.
absolutely he is.
He won't be able to push his agenda any further if he loses the House.
Correct.
And so pushing this through the Senate or continuing to attempt to, if it fails, he may as well just stop, especially if he loses the House.
Hmm.
There's just no point pushing anything anymore because it's not going anywhere, is it?
Absolutely not. And right now he's basically coming to, or he's going to be forced to accept that, because right now his approval rating is 33%,
I saw that. I don't know what they're
which
basing it
is
on number-wise, but
disgustingly small.
is it lower than what Trump's was?
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's embarrassing.
His current job, his approval rating is so far in the gutter that you actually have some mainstream Democrats starting to go, now hold on a second, Biden. This is a shit situation. What is
Mm-hmm.
going on here?
Yep. It's not
Um,
looking good right now for him.
no, not even remotely. And if right now he is slated to lose the House and Senate and some Senate seats as well.
He loses those seats, and he won't have
In
to worry about
20.
mansion and cinema, will he?
No, but there are people who are still just as insane as they were, you know, during Trump, that basically castigate cinema and mansion as just as bad. I I tweeted something before I left work, that um I said, why oh why does YouTube feel the need to recommend me Joy Reid and her guest hyperbolic complaint of Senator Cinema, saying that it's the next coup attempt on behalf of Latinos and Hispanics, since you felt the need to speak for us. The voting rights bill is not needed. We have ID. Um, but basically, the guest on Joy Reid's show basically said that the actions that Cinema was taking essentially amounts to the next coup attempt, because what Cinema does is helps secure the House and Senate for Republicans. I thought that's a very strange admission. That would mean that if this went through, that it would do the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secure the election for the Democrats, right? That is the logical conclusion, I think, that the reverse would be true in this case. Um, which is basically why they're pushing it and why they're so desperately
Mm-hmm.
flailing
Yeah.
that, oh my god, we need this in place as soon as fucking possible.
Okay.
Unfortunately, or yeah, for them, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No?
Hopefully, oh no, I don't think so. The if you refuse, if you break the filibuster, then that means that as soon as 2022 happens, right? That means that Republicans get to vote the same shit for anything they want. As long as it's piecemeal, they can do that. If you dissolve the filibuster outright, that means as soon as the House goes Republican, it's over. Like, the reason why a whole bunch of these, the safe and secure elections happened were
Hmm.
mostly because of state rules. Well, HR1 wants to federalize the rules. Okay? So when you give the federal government a whole bunch of power and the federal government no longer is your party, you're going to reap the consequences because you're too short-sighted to see what's be-
There is a
beyond what's
question
right
in
in
the
front of you.
YouTube chat for you.
Oh, is there?
TrupsLP, when are the
Yeah,
midterms? From Cyrene.
2022
So this year.
November.
Oh.
So it is going to be. You're going to start seeing a whole slew of ads. If you are in America, you are going to start seeing a whole slew of campaign ads.
Cringy ads. Woo.
Yes, but that also
Yeah.
means that for political commentators, you are going to expect a lot more ad revenue.
I mean, I'm not against it, but we need to stream more.
Just, just saying. Just wanted to point that out.
I'll maybe that won't hurt me so badly. Now we're in the driest month of the year. Nah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Actually, I
Well,
don't mind the slightest.
they've been starting campaign ads earlier and earlier, so we'll
Well,
see.
that's like the holiday seasons. They start in the
Yeah.
because before Halloween picked up, over
Mhm.
here, Christmas pretty much started in September. But because of Halloween, thankfully, mercifully, Halloween took place. I'm sure eventually we'll have our own Thanksgiving as well, because even though it's yours, we seem to want it. And also,
I mean,
I like turkey. All right, I like turkey.
I was just say it's an excuse to eat food. I think that's dope.
I just like turkey. It's like when my sisters went away on holiday for a week. My dinner was grilled turkey steaks every single day because I like
Mm.
turkey. Also, shredding season.
Also, if you ever have extra, you can just go and turn that into some turkey soup,
Right?
much like how you would make chicken soup. That shit's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I like soup.
Yeah, I mean, soup's great, especially because that stuff you can freeze it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it
Mm-hmm.
just lasts forever.
Wow, we so
After
old.
Thanksgiving, my mother essentially will usually make a turkey soup that whenever the kids go back up home, she'll give us a frozen quart of soup.
Oh,
She's like, "Here, take this home with you and heat it up and have some soup." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks."
that sounds awesome.
Um, it is, it is. It's pretty dope, especially, I mean, otherwise the food ends up going bad, and there's no reason for that.
Don't suppose your mother wants to make me some food now, does she?
I'm sure that if you come down, I will make sure that some of my mother's soup is
Down.
available to you. I'm in the south,
I'm across the pond though.
but I'm very south of you too.
I'd have to go across and down though.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a ball ache.
I think I think my report goes to yours.
I don't know. We can't leave the country at the moment anyway.
That's all right. But yeah, so that's basically a lot of what the news has been.
Yeah.
Is basically this HR1 shit. Kamala is not a logically speaking woman in general. Um, oh,
Well,
Fauci
one
got
of them
called
usually
out.
says the stupid things, don't they? Always once, either the VP or the P.
Mhm.
May as well be her.
And
You
then
can't talk.
Fauci got called out again.
What do you do this
Um,
time?
so there were some emails that got released. I don't know if you saw the Veritas stuff.
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I have to be very careful with how I phrase this, but essentially, Veritas released documents that were part of a DoD release, that basically explained that the NIAID,
Right.
a company that he's associated with, um, took up a proposal to perform gain of function on bat coronaviruses where ordinarily DARPA denied it.
Oh.
So, for a long time, Fauci kept saying that he didn't do none of that. And now you have an email from individuals in the OD that says, "Yeah, yeah, you did."
Well
And
then,
so that's the person who released that story. 24 hours after he posted it, got suspended. Just want to point that out.
I mean that's unfortunate.
It's very telling.
I wonder
They
why.
really gotta stop. They really gotta stop immediately fucking censoring people who release stuff because it makes it sound like it's their fault. Yes, this person is correct. Don't let him speak.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta stop doing that because it makes everyone go, "What accident? What? Where?"
You shouldn't be allowed to talk.
Yeah, everyone starts looking. So don't do that.
Can't even
But
give
other
a
than that,
think about some of the crazy crap that Biden's coming out with. You can't even put a teleprompter in front of him because he won't be able to read it.
end of quote.
Yeah, you can't say it in his ear because he probably can't hear you anyway. In fact, your best bet is when they did that routine colonoscopy, show a microphone up there so he'll hear it through his body. They should have thought this through.
I think Kamala would be very thrilled to hear about him going through another colonoscopy.
I think she'd be very thrilled to find out she may well get a colonoscopy.
No, that's just how she gets into her. That's just how she gets into political office, and it's not colonoscopy. It's just, a friendly reach around.
You know, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Something never said.
Yeah, let's go with that. Do you have anything to show? Because we
Uh,
are at
so
6.
tomorrow on my main channel, I'm going to do a stream at around 9 p.m. GMT because tomorrow is my birthday, and I thought, I know, I'll do a stream and talk to people, i.e., just people who turn up in the chat, because I haven't invited
Mhm.
anyone and I'm too lazy to do that now. So I'm going to go and get it and link it in the chat.
Okay.
There it is. If you want to join, just to give me crap in the chat, go nuts. I'd obviously appreciate it. It's just, yeah, a stream. Yeah, that's about it really. What about yourself?
So I've been kind of thinking to go back to my Twitch channel and start just streaming there. I'm thinking about that.
Link it.
Oh, it looks like shit though.
Okay,
Shit
perhaps next week if Trups is here, we'll do it then.
Yeah, let's do that.
I might build some Lego as
I have
well.
to like sit and actually like make it look less like crap.
I mean, it's fine. It's
I
fine.
know. I know, but if I actually like care enough like to actually do it, I need to make it look a little bit better. Anyway, yeah, so that's my plan. Cool. Well, then we look forward to seeing your birthday stream. Everybody say happy birthday.
God.
And cool. Well, if there's nothing else, then I'm going to say good night, Meg.
Good night, Meg.
Good night, Meg.